All right, guys, welcome to the Last Dance Symposium. Uh, Cardell, your initial thoughts, then Ray, follow up with mine.
Like I said, I just like how they just captured everything that went into what made Jordan the greatest of all time, and what made the Bulls a dynasty. I like how they kind of get starting off with the details with the key players and the whole dynasty run, and even going back so you can understand the journey that led to them becoming who they were down the line. And it wasn't an easy road for any of them. They all had to earn their stripes in one way or another. That's the you know that's the first thing that I took away from the first two episodes so far.
Ray.
Yeah, just echoing that sentiment. I like to deep dive into the history of it, showing things from the very beginning. And of course as they progress, they're really going to dig into that last season and pretty much when the ride was over. But with any story, you can't tell it without, telling the whole thing and just showing you how they came from pretty much relative obscurity to one of the greatest franchises and dynasties ever. I mean, they had the indoor soccer team outselling them. So that should tell you pretty much anything you need to know. Like, and just Mike's impact on the Bulls and the NBA in general. And I just look forward to what they're giving us next in the next coming weeks.
And I was selling them in Chicago, which is a basketball heavy city. That's crazy.
Yeah. And what I said before, just, it's a great example of something we talk about all the time. Ego getting in the way is something very, very great. There was no reason for this to end the way that it did. Kudos for them making sure that they ended the right way with the hardware. But it's fun going back and just looking. And the thing I guess I'm most excited about is just, even though everyone has all this access to information, like this is right here, it's new, it's fresh, so it's like a whole I want to say generation, but just another opportunity for so many people to get a really clear look at something that maybe they only caught in a passing, where it was very glossed over, or just maybe not even appreciated nearly enough. And it's just an in-depth look. And I mean, for most of us, it's just fun. We're going back to our childhoods essentially, just enjoying all of this, right? So I'm looking forward to some of the folks' reactions. I stayed off Twitter tonight. I'll probably look at it probably tomorrow or whatever, because I just want to enjoy it in peace. But yeah, like, it's one thing when you talk about that stuff and all these wild debates people have. It's different when you kind of see this stuff in your face and separate. It just looks, it hits you a little bit different when it's just fresh. So it's fun in that regard.
I just think it's a bunch of people that don't know what they're talking about. They're emotional and they go off. You notice that these days when something happening in the sports world, it's the greatest I've ever seen. Oh my God, it's like, yo, pipe down, relax. I understand it's exciting, but you had excitement before in your life. Like, relax, just keep things in perspective. And I just feel like that's one thing that a lot of people fail to do these days. And kind of what we was talking about wax before we started the show. I'm saying it's the reason why we say Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time. It ain't because he sold a lot of damn shoes. It ain't like because he got a lot of damn money, or he's our childhood, our God, or whatever the hell you want to call him, man. It's the work he consistently every day continue to put in. Like, I'm the biggest Jordan fan you would see, but there was plenty of times where I doubted him. I'm like, man, they weren't supposed to beat them 92 Trailblazers. Trailblazers were deep as hell. They weren't supposed to beat them. And they had a guy that was supposed to be equal to Jordan and neutralize him. And then you got like Cliff Robinson, who's 16. You got Jerome Kersey, so they can neutralize Pippen. And then you got Duckworth and all those guys, and Ainge and Terry Porter and all that. Like, they were stacked, man. They weren't supposed to beat them, but they got them up out of there because of the greatness of one player. And man, Pippen came into his own as well. Even Utah, they had some rocky roads, and the Knicks, and going Game 7 and 92 before they even got to the Trailblazers. The Knicks pushing them to 7 games. The Pacers. It's just certain times. People forget in '98 the Bulls lost the first 2 games in the finals in Utah, and people like, man, they ran out of gas because this is what the last dance is. It was such a hard road, and they're going to get to that part. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's such a hard road. Look at all the drama they're going through right now early in the season with Scottie Pippen, and then you finally get back to the show. And you lose the first 2 games in the finals on the road at Utah after the team that just pushed you to 6 games, and it's just like, man. I don't know, man. I remember I got an interview with here at the crib with Bob Costas. Like, man, I thought it was over. And then, Jordan asked Jordan about it. He was like, man, for once we were the underdog. He was just like, that was beautiful to me. And I'm like, dog, dude's a killer, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. He loves being doubted. Like, and everybody don't like being doubted. And that's one thing as a young, and I kind of took from him, just embrace being hated on. And like, it don't bother me one bit. People think it do, but I'm not. That's the lesson I got from him. I just love it. Like, it fires me up to keep going, try to make them look like the dumbest was on earth, and that's what he thrives off of. So that's the difference between players you see today when they matched up against other players that they're kind of comparable, and they in press conference like, man, I don't even want to think about it. Mike not saying that. Mike like, well, we'll see when we play. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the glimpse you see right now.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the drama already. We didn't even get to Dennis yet, man. That's next week. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even get to Mr. Distraction.
I love Mark,
like,
damn, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's what? I wouldn't be surprised if he gets like episode 3 and 4.
Right.
That's
man.
Like,
Bird, hey, Worm had you bald like Mike at the end of the day. You was coaching that John, dog. Like Worm was Worm was a piece of work, man.
But man, all the things you guys are saying, like all this revisionist history that's going on, about Mike didn't play any competition or anything like that. Like, you just had a cakewalk to all the success. It's disrespectful to him and the work he put in, first of all. But then it just exposes your lack of knowledge for the game. Like, just look at this last season in a vacuum. They're the oldest team in the league. Scotty's injured. It's discord between the players in the front office. Scotty's not even there for a great length of time. Then, as you used to just say, Wilson, you got Rodman just creating havoc everywhere. And, and they still managed to set a goal and say, hey, look, we know this the last time we doing this. We just going to go ahead and get that hardware and ride off into the sunset. And to have that mindset in the beginning of the year and accomplish that and fight through everything they fought through, I mean, the evidence is being revealed. Like, I was telling one of my buddies, like, after this, I'm just not even gonna have another debate ever again about this because there's no need.
No, and after this, like you said, I'm gonna just have a screenshot of the Last Dance cover, and when people come and we done, I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna send them that, and just you go watch that and then come back and holler at me, because it's undeniable, man. Like, I think after this, Doc, man, if you can't see that, how dangerous, how great the Bulls team was, arguably the best ever. They're up there with the 60 Celtics or whatnot. You could throw the 86 Celtics in that. You know what I'm saying? They up there, top 2 or 3 of all time, if not the best. If you can't see that, you can't see that Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time. You're just not trying to be real with yourself, and there's no point in entertaining you. Period.
Yeah. What I've really liked is the way they're telling the story. I'm enjoying the time jumps. I don't really have any critiques so far. And one thing I want to give credit to whoever's doing the score. The music has been phenomenal thus far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been on point. They have yet to miss. And that's been a fun part. It was cool seeing the Carolina clips. That was different. Because like some of us, I'm gonna date myself. I don't really care, but like we didn't get the Carolina clips on the VHS tapes. Okay, that's not something that was on MJ Playground and things like that. Like, we knew about it, but we didn't. It was crazy seeing young Dean. It was fun watching Roy Williams talk about it. I give a little bit of credit to Isaiah for taking some time to sit down and talk about it. But it was just fun, and there's so much more to get into. I mean, look, man, I'm just looking forward to the rest of these, man. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's crazy because once again, like, I can't even find my words. Like, it was weird. Like, we saw like a couple of images of Kobe, David Stern, like Stu Scott. Like, it's just so much during that time, to where we're at now. So it's thoroughly just enjoying this trip, looking back.
One thing I think a lot of people, especially these youngers today, who are a little bit too entitled for me, and a lot of adults, who kind of cater to them and make them that way. I think it's good to see that Jordan got it the hard way. I know they saying the Doc, he was one of the highest recruited players, but that came later, like his senior year. It came real late, and I like how he had to earn it. He got cut. He had to earn his stripes. So he literally went through all the steps that a normal basketball player goes through. You go to North Carolina, and James Worthy's like he's pushing on to play 1-on-1, and you know at that time Dean Smith, like, freshmen don't start. You know, people don't understand that back then. North Carolina was kind of like, I mean, people gotta understand. North Carolina back then was kind of a combination of Duke and Kentucky. You had the talent that always come through Kentucky currently, but you had a structure and a system and program prestige like of Duke, and it was a combination of that back then. And so when you went to North Carolina as a freshman, it was like you got paid dues because typically you weren't good or you weren't as good or better than any of the upperclassmen. And at the time, James Worthy was the man. Hell, even coming in, you can kind of say Sam Perkins was the second option after James Worthy, and then people forget it was Jimmy Black after that. It wasn't Jordan. Jordan had to earn his right to move up the ladder, and I love his mindset because that's what I tell my youngest when I work with him, when I train, because that's what helped me grow as a player when I was coming up as a player. Yo, don't just go in on trials or practices and fit in. You're not gonna catch the coach's attention that way. Go into the top guy. Like from day one, I'm guarding him because he's definitely gonna be focused on his best players. So if you making plays against him, he's gonna see you. It's gonna help you. As simple as that. So he went at James Worthy, and I love the fact James Worthy number one pick, and he's just like 2 weeks it lasted. I was better than him. And he got and that work ethic. That's the one common thing you hear about Mike throughout his career, man. It's the work ethic. Even Dean said it, man. It's just like to see him put all that together is a sight to behold. And then you see even when they got to the Olympics, and I love how Ron Thorne kept it real. He's like, man, if the draft would have been at the Olympics, we might have been number one pick. We'd have lost out because that's when he really tore up. And people forget before they got to the Olympics, they had to play a tour of NBA players. And he was giving them the business then. And that's when Bobby Knight, like, oh, yeah, he the best player I've ever seen play before he played the NBA game. And these are tough, accomplished, the greatest coaches you ever played for. They don't give out compliments like that, man. So that's something that's earned. And the fact that he was getting that early, man, that lets you know what was coming. And I mean, that's what I want young players to see, man. Like, stop expecting things to be handed to you, dog. That disgusts the hell out of me. Like, nah, dog, coming. And Wilson, I'll give us an example. When we first finally officially got Wizard credential to cover the league, as a season, first thing we said was, all right, we here. We put the work in to get here. What we gonna do to stay here? Right. So we ain't take it for granted. We gonna grind. So that's what we did. All right, we mapped out a plan how to do the coverage in our unique way, and that's how we grind and stuff like that. That's how you do it. We ain't coming in like, man, we should have been had this young. What y'all doing? You know, like, come on, bro. I mean, it's the league. They don't need. Come on, man. It's just the league. You gotta humble yourself and put that work in. That's what I'm about, the work, and that's why I feel like Mike is the greatest because as blessed as he was and accomplished as he was still that kid that felt like he got cut at his core, and that's what he always tapped into when things got tough, when he ain't having a good game or he just got tired, which he's human. You know, he had to remind himself, like, all right, you know, you can go back down that ladder again, and you might not come back up. He's like, the hell with that. So, and I like how they're talking about the season because with this season, it did get off to a rocky start without Pippen. I think they were like 8-7. Mm-hmm. And by the time he came back, they were 23-11. So you do the math. You know, 7 losses. They only lost 4 more games before Pippen got back in January. So, you know, Mike about to turn it up.
Man, one thing that stood out to me was when Mike said it took him till his, like, after his 3rd game, he kind of found his footing and felt like, you know, he was here to stay. And even just coming into the Bulls situation, he said, just like at North Carolina, he went right at James Worthy. When he got drafted, he said, all right, let me find out who's the best player here, and I'm going right at him. But the 3rd game was interesting because they ended up playing Milwaukee, and they had Moncrief, who one of the best defensive players ever.
Marcus Johnson, they was
and what really struck me about that is when he was talking to Sidney Moncrief, he said, you know, he watched the first 2 games and saw Mike and was like, man, that might be a problem right there. And this is the 2-time defensive player of the year. And in my mind, that led me to think he was already a little shaky about coming into this matchup. And Mike went in there and got right at him. And that's severely lacking right now. Like, you know, people always looking for mismatches or stupid stuff like that. Nah, man. You take the people they say are supposed to be your equal or better, and then you prove to them why they're not.
Exactly. And I mean, you saw it then. He's splitting double teams before they even got a chance to react and going to lay up and bringing them back and winning. And he like you said, that's when I felt he said I felt like that's when I earned my stripes with Chicago. They knew if I'm on the floor, we got a chance to win. You know, even though traveling cocaine circus is just think about that, man. You a rookie and you coming in and you seeing guys with that, and it was wild back then, you know, and that's part of the reason why a lot of corporations ain't want to get behind the league. They're not stupid. They're gonna do their due diligence. If they're being pitched on, they're gonna do their due diligence to try to see what's going on behind the scenes. They're not gonna just take your word for it. That's just smart. So I'm pretty sure they were aware of all the wild stuff that was going on, and that wasn't new. That was going on in the '70s, and you know, it just got stronger because crackhead, you know, on top of the cocaine thing. So yeah, you seeing all these dudes doing that wild John. He's just like, I'm out. And that's when, you know, I have a magazine right here sitting next to me where he's doing an interview and they asked him a question like, what did you learn from the veterans when you first got to the league? And he said, you want me to be honest? And he was like, yeah, he was just not to be like them. He said, that's all I learned. And like you said, I had to be my own leader. So that's where you get, that's why I said I'm glad they went back because you kind of see why he became, quote unquote, the tyrant later on because he was there through the dark times. You know, when losing was accepted, when I mean you going your like come on dog, you're a pro athlete. You're not even supposed to eat McDonald's and stuff for real, let alone have white lines and all, who knows drinking and weed and whatever freaks was up in the hotel room, dog. Like, come on, man. Like that's but I'm supposed to really trust that you're gonna be ready for the game tomorrow. We play Magic and Bird and all them Dr. J. Come on, dog. Nah. So you ain't coming in here messing this up when we got some building. You gotta get with the program, you gotta get up out of here. And I don't blame him for being that way. It's just you know, even like us with the focus, we got look, we set a foundation. You come on board. This is what we need from you. If you can't do that, you gotta go on. You gotta get the hell on. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I love that they brought up so much, at least talking about him in his games, how many times have we heard the word fundamentals brought up? Oh, so many times. Everybody, you know, especially in this age where, you know, everybody got these elaborate training and all this other, you know, the theatrics with it. Like all we heard was fundamentals, 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 fundamentals. You take the fundamentals, someone so sound of the fundamentals, you mix it with the ridiculous gifted caliber athlete he was, right? And we didn't even get to the part where he started, you know, weight training yet. Like we still, you know, we still got the Rover era coming. We haven't got there yet. You know, where, you know, shout kudos to the bad boys help, you know, build, help kind of evolve him onto that next level physically. Like it's I hope that people really, you know, at least players, you know, watching take it to heart, just like the fundamentals, man. Like, yeah, we saw this ridiculously athletic things, but a lot of stuff, man, he was just going to work. It was simple, 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 and it was oh so effective. But yeah, man, just it's fun. It's fun going over like you know, just his makeup and the mentality that you know heard so much about. And I hope people, you know, like can take something from it, you know, and transfer it to just life in general as a whole.
And then they also, I love how they touched on, you know, how strong he was because everybody was throwing in he was like 186, whatever, when he first came to the league. And anybody that has played this game know weight don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been plenty of dudes bigger than me, way more than me, and I moved them all the time off their block, off the block, or where they wanted to go when they shot. It doesn't matter. It's your strength, and honestly, strength comes from your will. It's just it's just a refusal of like you're not gonna just bully me, dog. And you know, and obviously he had that in spades. You know, I like the fact that they admitted that they doubted Jordan could turn the franchise around. They weren't even looking for him to do that. It was just, I guess he was the best player available at that time. You know, after the Centers went, you know, and people don't know this. There's another thing in the book. Actually, front office was front office was looking at trading Jordan or what was trading the picture, trading down to get Mel Turpin. Who ended up being one of the victim on one of Jordan's famous plays. You know, I'm pretty sure they're gonna get to that down the line, but you know, that would have been bad, and that's why you saw the assistant coach on the show. You saw the assistant coach hit him right throwing up like, yeah, you finally ain't effed this up. You did good. You know what I'm saying? Because they probably, you know, those are basketball people, and they tired of like, man, what the hell they doing up there, dog? Like, let us just pick. And shout out to Mike Tabal because he was a part of that process, man. You know, I don't know if he's gonna get a, you know, get a chance to talk in that. But yeah, he was part of that process and drafted Jordan. Him and Rod Thorne. Well, not Rod Thorne. It was him and Locker, I think. And he said they locked the door. So Rod Thorne went coming in and messed it up. Because like I said, he was high on Mel Turpin. So because they believed they just needed a center. And that was the common belief. And I get it because if you look in the past since the league started, who won the championships? It was centers.
Yep. So, dominant bigs were the thing.
And that's another thing that you gotta give a credit to Mike is he changed the game. He changed it where guards can win you championships. I know Isaiah was the first little guard to do it, but Mike, the way he just came and knocked it out the park. You know, that's what paved the way for the Kobe's, you know, the LeBrons, the Dwayne Wade's, and all these guys that came along later. That's winning championships from the wing position. Kawhi, KD, all that.
Yeah, it's really funny to hear different players talk about, you know, what their expectations of Mike was. Just looking back on it now, like hindsight is always 2020. And when they were saying, you know, he's not 7 foot, he's not going to be able to carry a team. Man, like if you could look at that, if they're looking at that now, they're like, how foolish were we? Like, and he really just came in and changed the landscape of basketball. Like I said before, then it was all about a dominant center. Like even going back to George Mikan.
Yeah.
Like from Mikan to Russell to Wilt to Kareem, it was all about dominant centers, and Mike changed that.
Yeah, man, he's just a rare breed, and I mean, and that kind of tells you the quality of bigs overall today, because you know, if the bigs would have dominant, then they would shake up the league. Then they would be trying to adapt to deal with that center. You know what I'm saying? Just like when we grew up, that's why. And that's another testament to why Jordan was great because he had to deal with it from all positions. This era is kind of more perimeter dominated.
Yeah,
absolutely. That era he came up in, he got it from all angles. It was centers, it was fours, it was small fours, it was shooting guards, it was point guards dominating and winning. So it's just like he really didn't have any nights off. Also, you know, I like when he said the transition from college was easy to the pros. That was hilarious, man. But that's the work he was putting in, man. You know what I'm saying? And also, like I said, being at North Carolina, though, he played against pros for 3 years when they came back. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't nothing. And I know what that does for you as a player, confidence, because even, you know, similar experiences, you know, my college coach, he played overseas, so he had a lot of guys from overseas that would come back during the season. I don't even know if this was legal, but that would be our practice. We would scrimmage them. And obviously, us being college kids and they playing high-level EuroLeague ball and all that, that's a chance to really, you know, literally see if we can play pro. Like, we can see. We don't have to worry about nobody. We can know deep down. Some guys found out, like, yeah, I might as well just get my degree. And then there were other guys kind of like, you know, me, a couple other guys, where it was just like, I do have a chance if I continue to put in the work. And because you're making plays, you thriving, and it's like, okay, it's not, you know, it's not foreign. And then that's when the confidence comes. And a lot of people don't know North Carolina, he got his mid-range game from North Carolina great, Walter Davis. And Walter Davis took a liking to him because Jordan was giving all them the business. So he's like, yo, you would be unstoppable if you get a mid-range. And Jordan was like, all right. So he taught him the tricks of the trade. Because Walter Davis was one of the greatest mid-range shooters ever. And all Mike did was just put that toolbox with his athleticism, and you saw what it became. I mean, the boy don't miss. It's just ugly. So, but that's like I said, that's a testament to his work ethic. And you saw what Roy Williams said. He's like, dog, you saying you want to be the greatest player to ever come out of here, but you working just as hard as everybody else. You got to work harder than everybody else. And Jordan's like, all right, you gonna see. I'm gonna work harder than everybody else, and then you know the rest is history.
And also with his transition to the league, I think he was finally happy to have the kind of just to be unleashed, like he said. You know, when playing in North Carolina, of course, you know, it's going to be a structured, disciplined, step-by-step thing being under Dean Smith. But he said before, like Dean Smith holding him back in college kind of allowed him to erupt in the league like that because it showed him, you know, helped him tame his game and pick his spots better and just be able to attack when he felt necessary. So yeah, once he got to the pros and they let him go, man, like it's like pent up rage that you just get to unleash at one time.
Yeah, like the quote, people say Dean Smith held me under 20 points, but he gave me the knowledge average 37 points. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what people don't understand. I mean, what y'all think about the Scottie Pippen being underpaid situation?
It was just another example of inept front offices, man. Like it was ridiculous. I mean, you got to think about it. It took a minute before Mike got what he should have been getting.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, and I know the question was about Scotty, but just in reference to that, like they were both severely underpaid for a minute, and then you know, it. Do you know how messed up it is? Like your front office, where the owner's telling you don't take the long term deal that the GM's offering you. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah,
hope people
man.
heard that all the way, man. Like let that sink in. The owner's telling you, like, look, don't do that. It's not in your best interest. And if you sign it, like, I can't do anything for you past this because you signed it, right?
And he could have, but he just like basically tell him like once the contract, you don't like he said, don't come see me again.
Yeah.
And I get why Pippen did it, man, because a lot of people don't remember early in his career he had a lot of back injuries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one of it was a back injury that almost threatened to ruin his career, and it scared the hell out of him. So he like, I need security just in case this back injury takes me out. And at that time, you also got to remember the back injuries were ended Larry Bird's career.
Yep.
Ultimately, so it was a common thing, and medical science and all that wasn't as advanced at the time as it is now. You know what I mean? So, I get what he was saying, but you the owner, man. You still got control to
Mm-hmm.
tear that up and do what's right, man. And Jerry Reinsdorf is still the owner of the Bulls, and outside the D Rose years, they ain't came close. You know what I'm saying? They ain't came close to getting that, and that's what I mean by when you got a chance to win, you got to keep doing it. Like Mark Cuban, I felt like he gave up on that one championship 2 years. I think too early. I think he kind of just let guys go, traded guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, and like that's the difference when you don't have that basketball perspective because you never played. When you win, you know how hard it is when you had to grind to win. And once you kind of at that mountaintop, you're gonna do what you need to do to stay there. So you keep
Yep.
this nucleus together. You're not gonna just let pieces go, and because it takes time to build up a championship culture and championship nucleus. And to just throw that away like that, like it's easy to just go get some players to replace you and do that again. It's not that simple, man. And we've seen plenty of times where the chemistry just ain't right or whatever, and they just took it for granted, man. And
It's a perfect way to say it. That's what
Yeah,
they
I
did.
just, I just, don't, I just don't understand. But I'm glad they showing this part too because this goes on all the time. And they got to also understand the Bulls and teams like that took the L so these players today can thrive and be a players' league. And that's why I get mad when these players kind of act entitled and stuff like that. Because like, dog, you ain't built this. You just the beneficiary of what former teams and players built. Approach it in a way where you're more humble instead of acting like it's because of you.
Yeah, and man, just for them to have that type of long-standing success when the front office is basically self-sabotaging the situation, like that's wild, man. That speaks to Mike's leadership right there. Because as he said, the most it's other moving parts within the organization, but the most important part is always going to be the players because they're the ones that got to get it done. So and just just to lead through all that turmoil and nonsense is just amazing.
And then, I like that Jordan gave his opinion on what Scotty was doing. He's like he's being selfish and stuff because people, like Wilson said, Jordan was severely underpaid. Like, how are you the man? You bringing in literally billions of dollars to the league, and you ushering in the internet age, the NBA, and all these corporate sponsors are jumping on board. I know Magic and Bird saved the league, but Mike took it to what it is basically today, and he made it global. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike was severely underpaid. I think when he retired, he's making $2 million a year. He made way more off the court, and he was still approaching it the same way. So Mike was like, "Look, man, I signed a contract. I'm gonna do my job, my obligation. That's just how I'm doing." So that's why Jordan. I know a lot of people are like, "How Jordan ain't back up his teammate?" Well, because Jordan walked it. That's why. Because he like, nigga, if I was underpaid and I was doing winning MVP, scoring champions, all NBA defensive first team. Why are you acting this way? I get you underpaid, man, but we got a job to do. It's a team thing. You know what I'm saying? Like none of us like the front office, but you're hurting us. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't have to sign a contract in the first place. You could have did what you had to do. So it's just that dynamic. And I like how a lot of the teammates now, they stepping up saying, yeah, Pepe kind of handled that better. He's pouting, but it's certain situations where you see why, as talented as Pippen was, why he wasn't Mike, why he wasn't the alpha. Even going back to the Kukoc shot where he pouted on the bench and quit. Hey, you don't act like that when you leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Yeah. I can't really say anything else about that, but yeah, man, it's just another thing I like that I hope people listen to is and again, I'm just gonna say this real quick. It was never separating him from his teammates. He was never the one ever doing that. Always goaded into it. It was never me and then them. It was always us. I love what he said about Scotty. Before they really got into the meat of the Scotty episode, about I don't win any of those things without him. Because a lot of people like to take it and try to separate the two. And depending on how you want to build your case, you throw one of them off a bridge and then cherry pick a stat here and there to make up for the other. And look, man, they were a dynamic duo for a reason. They share a lot of things, 1 and 2, if not tied for so many different things for a reason. Obviously, they were better as a whole. And at the same time, there was an alpha, and there's nothing hard to take away from that. Like, listen to what Scotty said. Like, he had the success he had coming out of college, growing into his body and everything else. Really growing as a player, got to Chicago and was like, all right, there's levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's levels. And that makes it a little bit easier to slide into that role knowing like, yeah, I'm going to do everything I can, but that's different. So let me go ahead and do everything I can to support that versus like, yeah, you want to compete and be the best you can be, but he didn't sabotage it.
No, not at all. It should sound familiar, that situation where the media and fans kind of pulled them apart, because I think they did that to the Warriors with KD. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, KD, dog.
Definitely. Absolutely.
They got behind you in the finals, dog. They deferred to you. I know it's Steph technically the favorite son because he was drafted there. He was basically raised there. I get it. But you the best player on the planet. So the people in that locker room know. I'm like, dog, go. And it's crazy that they're kind of young. We're in that early 30s. And you see this a lot with athletes. They don't really fully see it until later on when they're done. And they, yo, we could have did something. It's like Tracy McGrady and Vince. I'm like, I get you want to be the man and stuff. You ain't want to be, because and it's back to what you said, Wilson. Back then, they didn't. It was viewed negatively to be in a Pippen role. But to me, it wasn't that. When he was younger, yeah, he was robbing. But when Mike came back from retirement, it became a partnership. There's plenty of games where I see Mike like, give me the ball. Pippen like, nah, dog, we gonna run the offense. Mike like, dang. He'll just chill. He'll just eat it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you read all the articles and stuff, books, it's plenty. The players will always say Mike was the bad cop. He's the one that get on you, but Pippen would be the good cop come behind. Like, yo, this is what he's trying to get you to do and stuff like that. So you want to go off the deep end. So it became a partnership and a three-peat there. You know what I'm saying? So I just think you got to be more mentally strong and understand what you have. You have a great thing going, because like I keep bringing up the Kevin thing. Yeah, you're in Brooklyn, but you had something great right there that was already made, and you just do what you do. And it's no guarantee you will ever get back to the finals. I'm not saying he won't, but it's just no guarantee. Nothing's guaranteed. Just like it may not be guaranteed with Golden State. But the thing is, over there, they know how to win. They know what it takes.
The odds are a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the best way to say the odds are a little bit better. And I love that you brought that up. And I'm interested going forward to seeing, if any of them give the reactions. Like, it's still fresh for them watching this. Got to be wild. Because, like, I could only imagine all the stuff, Steve said during the time they've been together, kind of like reflecting on these stories, these things that he's sharing with them. Not, obviously, I don't know everything he shared with them. I'm not there, but obviously, like, you're pulling that information, these stories and things from somewhere because you lived that, right? You are a part of a lot of winning. Steve Kerr was around a whole lot of winning. So, like, it's fresh for all those involved in, what Golden State's been doing. Like, just really wondering how they're taking all this in, because like it hits a little bit differently. Like it's still fresh.
No doubt, man. It just it's hard to win, man. It's hard to win at anything. So you can't take you got to understand what you have here and be willing to swallow your pride. I mean, like dog. I mean, we can keep it 100, man. It's when me and Wilson have discussions and stuff like that. It may not be exactly what we may want it to be, but whichever path is best for the show overall, we're
Yeah.
gonna roll with that. And that's swallowing pride and ego. That's why it works. If it was just like, nah, I gotta be my way or it gotta be this way, it ain't gonna work. And you see ego just tears stuff up. Like me, I like to win. That's my bottom line.
Dude,
my thing is,
that's what it's
when
about.
you win, you can't say nothing. You can talk all the trash in the world. Like, I mean, you seen plenty of clips, man, like talking trash to Kobe. Kobe just count the rings and they shut up. You know what I mean? It's even Kobe, he was bucking at Mike in the All-Star game. Mike like, hey, boy, I got 6, you got 3 now. He's like, okay, I can't say nothing to that. Like, come on, man. It shuts all that up. It's just, Raymond, what you post earlier with the WNBA and the Mystics?
Oh, the can
drink some
man. Look
champagne
here.
tastes better. You know what I'm saying? Like, shut all that up. You can't say nothing. That's
real quick.
That's a finale. That's final. So I like that, man. And that's the thing that can't be disputed, man. But like I said, it's gonna be fun moving forward. Just the ownership, man, and Jordan. What's your thoughts on the foot injury, man? How they was doing 14 minutes a game, dog. Oh, I don't see how he can swing on him. Mike got patience, dog.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yo, like I wouldn't have been surprised if he just stormed up in the office and put hands on one of them. Because I mean, that's like, if the dude is cleared and can play, you got to let him out there. Like, and I mean, I like his attitude with they say it's a 10% chance of re-injury. He's like, it's a 90% chance that I'm good. Like, so let me do what I do. And then when he caught wind of them trying to get a better draft position, he's like, nah, we're not doing that at all. I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna play. Then they tried to put him on minutes restriction. And he said, just for 14 minutes, I'm going to go ballistic. So that just gives you insight into the type of dog he was. And I think people don't understand that part of it. Like, he scored a lot of points. He won a lot of championships. But that relentlessness and just that attitude in general, man, that already put him ahead of a vast majority of players right there. Like, if he was sorry but just went hard like that would have yielded some results. So
I was just gonna say, for me with the foot injury, it was just another laughable thing, like how clumsy the Bulls were as a whole. Like, because everybody looking back, you remember the championships, man. Like, again, for me looking back, like I was just thinking the whole time, like, man, y'all accomplished this in spite of that. Like, everywhere you turn, they try to fumble something. Like, they literally, like Steve Kerr said, like, dude was good, but he couldn't get out his own way. They legitimately continued to do that for that entire time they were together. Like, every time something was good, here goes some bubbling mess from upstairs, came from somewhere. Like, he has a foot injury, that's cool, I get it. But at the same time, like, you accidentally got the guy who could turn your franchise around. You almost got return on your investment your rookie year, right? You legit saw a return on that investment the rookie year. Sophomore year comes, breaks his foot. He's ready to get back, even in the little petty minute restriction or whatever. It's impacting wins, right? What are you doing? What are you doing? Legit, what are you doing? For what?
It's the Bulls front office. And one little nugget that I noticed came from that I never knew. I think that's where the trust with John Paxson came from when he hit the game winner. Because Jordan always said that was one of my favorite favorite teammates. I could count on him. Yep. I think he kind of became the first teammate with Jordan. Like, all right, I can count on him. He can make shots. He wasn't a great defender. He wasn't great at kind of getting guys involved, but he was tough. And he knew his role, and his role was a vital one, knock down open shots. And obviously, when Mike drawing the attention he did, he's a perfect complement. So that's when I think the trust with John Paxson came through. And obviously, nothing was guaranteed because let's say, okay, the Bulls ended up drafting Brad Sellers in the draft. So obviously that didn't turn out too well. I'm looking at '86 draft. It wasn't an elite draft to say the least. It was a lot of great college stars, but not a lot of great pros. Brad Doherty, obviously Len Bias passed away. Chuck Person, became a solid pro. Ron Harper was on his way till he blew out his knees, but he ended up playing with him. John Sally was with the Bad Boy Pistons, became a Bull later. Dale Curry, sharpshooter. Pearl Washington, rest in peace. He had a few years, but he gets Scott Skiles. He lasted. Mark Price was probably the gem of the draft, man. You know what I'm saying? He went in the second round. So, and Dennis Rodman, obviously. So it wasn't a heavy draft at all. Like I'm looking, and those are about the only names. Jeff Hornacek went 46. Obviously you saw what he did. Became an All-Star. That was pretty much it, man. But for the Bull, Drazen Petrovic, 60.
Hey.
So it was a handful of guys, but it wasn't a like 84 or 03 or 96 type draft. It wasn't like that. So you was going to tank and risk losing for
Nothing.
Brad Sellers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why you can't. No, I don't think you should ever accept losing anyway. You win and you deal with what you got. And honestly, is all like I just named all those players that ended up doing major work in the league, right? Probably about 7 players, about 4 of them went in the second round. So draft better. There's always gems out there. Draft better.
Yeah.
What did y'all think kind of about to wrap this up? What did you think about the stories behind his run in against the Celtics in the playoffs in '86?
You go ahead, Ray.
Man, that is wild how that even unfolded, because without the John Paxson shot against the Pacers, they don't make the playoffs.
Right.
And we don't get a chance to see that. And I mean, he came out the gate like he was relishing the opportunity to play against one of the best teams ever, and opened up with 49. Then they hit on the golf course, and Danny Ainge started running his mouth, and he followed up with the 63 piece. Like, I mean, it's like to have a team of that magnitude openly admit that they were utterly helpless against the guy like that. That's, man. Like I said, I don't have no reason to debate, no reason to get into any discussion anymore. Like that is the proof is here. I'm just going to enjoy watching these next 8 episodes.
Yeah, for me, it was just fun, man. Like, did everybody notice the people that were making those disgruntled faces and shoulders that were dropping?
We're plumbers, though. What are you talking about?
Man, I counted a couple. What's those 3 words? HOFs. Those guys. Yeah, there's a few of those over there, right? And like Bill Walton was furious with Danny Ainge. Like, dude, how you got me out here switching on this? You don't want that work. Why would I want that work? Did I foul out? And again, let's go back real quick.
You would hate this era now.
These Celtics had a front line of the Chief, McHale, and Bill coming off the bench. I mean, just talk like you said with Bird, but you got Walton coming off the joint. Like, man, are you serious?
And everybody got
it's a mob. And almost every single one of them dudes, at least them bigs, is somebody who's carried something a little bit somewhere before. Right. Before we even get to Larry and DJ wasn't a slouch. Like,
Bill won a chip in '77. He was killing Kareem. Like, bro, come on,
outside, like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and he's there just because of injuries or whatever. Like.
And Dennis Johnson, he won one with Seattle, though.
Yeah, like,
man, that's a Finals MVP.
Mob.
They don't look, man. And the fact that Mike let Danny Ainge know, tell your boy DJ, I got something. Let him know. I got something for him because you talking too much, dog. I got something for y'all. I'm trying to tell you.
Shout out to Danny Ainge for having front row seats for a few of them things.
That's why he had a lad, but that's real. That's real. When you a competitor, dog, and this dude cook, you like, hey, dog. Like the post I put him on IG the other day, Ray George. I'm like, hey, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah.
You gotta give props where it's due, dog. Like, hey, and you saw those shots, man. This dude pump faking 25, leaning and McHale on him, and he jumping on McHale, hanging and hitting bank shots from 22 feet. You know how hard it is to banker from the corner with? Come on, bro. And he doing it game time.
Man, one of the shots that killed me was against Georgetown. Drove to the cup, the lefty lay over the outstretched hands of
Oh
Young
yeah.
Bat.
Bad boy, yeah.
Man, that thing was on top of the square
They said
before it
Mike don't
dropped.
drive left and use his left hand like that. That's what they say.
I guess maybe like I had my screen messed up and it was inverted and I don't know. But yeah, man, it was I'm just ready for next week already. I kind of want to just sim through the week. Wish I could jump to Sunday. But yeah, I guess any final thoughts you guys have?
He cemented why he in 2 episodes you cement that you to go. And we got 8 more parts. That's what I'm saying. It's just
I'm ready, man. Ready for the rest of
loving it, man.
this.
I'm loving how unfiltered he is because a lot of times he kind of be corporate and interviews and stuff. I love how he just like he let it hang, man. Man, hey, yo, lockery, man, fuck that. Let me loose, nigga. Like it's real shit. Like let's go, man. Fuck that shit. I love it, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I like the way we're getting a more in-depth glimpse into who Mike was as a person, his personality, his demeanor. Because like you said, Cardell, usually he's very guarded and kind of gives politically correct answers, and right now it just looks like he's talking off the cuff, and I love it, man. And he said, when people look at this, they're gonna think I'm a horrible guy, but look, greatness and winning has its price, man. You can't coddle people. Like, you can't accept anything less than maximum effort. Like, if you spend your life trying to get everybody to like you, you're gonna be the most popular dead guy in the room. Like, so it is what it is. You can come on this ride with me, or you can just get out the way and go somewhere else and do what you want to do. So, I mean, that's I'm glad we're getting this. Like, it's a shame that this has just been in the vault for 20 some odd years, but it's here now, and I can't wait.
Look, man, it's perfect timing for me, man. I'm cool with all this. It dropped at the perfect time. So yeah, I'm just ready for the next 8 episodes, man. Like I said, I'm ready to sim every week to Sunday. About 8:30. So that's what I'm ready for every week. Cardell, final thoughts?
Well, LeBron called Michael Jordan a mother and savage, so we can kind of end it on that note.
Oh, he finally let me be quiet. Sorry. All right. Let me stop recording.